Hey guys, I am back with another great Skype interview, and this time we're going to talk to Jennifer Rogers. So, hi Jennifer, welcome.
Thanks, Dr. Berg. Thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely. Hey, can you tell us a little bit about your story of what happened, like when did it start, and then what happened after that?
It happened a very long time ago. I've actually been battling my weight for 31 years. I went on my first diet. My mother put me on my first attempt at an organized for-profit business when I was 12. Always had weight issues. I've tried everything in the book, everything legal, everything not so legal. Last year was a very difficult year for me. I was in the process of saying farewell to my mom. She unfortunately passed away in April, late March, due to complications from multiple health issues, autoimmune, neuropathy, COPD, heart failure, all that stuff. And I was just disgusted with myself. My husband and I, we had gone out and we had seen pictures of each other, and I was lying to everybody saying that I was 225 pounds. Sure, add a couple 25 to that and you would have been fine.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't sleep at night. I was getting up in the middle of the night with those diabetic tremors, just going downstairs and eating food insanely. We got a new mattress because we thought the mattress was bad. And no, it was just the weight on my bones. The arthritis was just horrible.
Wow.
And I was destitute, and went out to dinner with some friends, and my husband was like, well, I'm going to try Atkins. And the friend said, well, hey, try this stuff called keto. And we're like, what is that? And so my husband started it first 2 weeks before. I'm like, listen, you start it. I'm terrible at diets. I never succeed at any of them. Fine. Then we went and started with a new direct primary care physician, and he was actually also very keto supportive.
Wow.
And after hearing my history of weight issues, diet challenges, my health concerns, my diagnoses, he's like, please just give keto a month.
Wow.
And I said, fine, whatever, I'll just try this stuff. I'll humor you guys. I'm just going to fail again. I had a call in to work with one of the local bariatric surgeons. Lo and behold, keto clicked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, were you overweight like 5 years old or 6? Was it since birth, or was there a certain time when you were a little kid that you started noticing you started gaining weight?
It was mainly, my mother always said that I looked like an emaciated baby, but if you picked me up, I felt very heavy. Unfortunately, my mother had a very poor self-image of herself, and she projected that onto me and projected the obesity onto me. It really started when I started going through puberty. I was never a petite, small-framed child. I was a medium-framed child, but I was a child of the 70s, and we ate grains, and we're Italian and Irish, so there was carbs everywhere, convenience foods. It was a very poor environment I was in. But when I was about 12, my mom saw that I was getting pudgy, things weren't working out quite well, and that's when she started me on the diets. Unbeknownst to both of us, as I matured, that's when I was diagnosed with a comorbidity of PCOS with primary amenorrhea. So right then and there, without knowing what PCOS, I actually wasn't diagnosed with PCOS until my early 20s, but I had the primary amenorrhea right there. But that right there was the indicator in hindsight of the insulin resistance and the PCOS.
Wow. Now, did you have heavy periods around that same time? Did you have any issue with your periods right before you started kind of noticing your weight was going up?
At primary amenorrhea is the complete absence of a menses. I never had a natural menses on my own until 2 weeks into keto.
What?
The only way, I tried 8 years of infertility. I was on birth control pills. The endocrinologist said, oh, you just need to go on these birth control pills. Will manage your, keep you regular, keep everything clean. And then when you get off, we'll give you this magic pill called Clomid. That'll work great. You'll get pregnant. No, 8 years of infertility, multiple tries of Clomid, 8 IUIs and 2 IVFs.
Wow.
I was not successful. I would successfully conceive, but I would miscarry because my progesterone levels were extremely low. So that was the only way I could ever have a cycle was through medication.
So when you were
Now,
like 11 or 12 or 13, you didn't even have any cycles at all?
no, I had no signs. You could see
Wow.
that the estrogen was coming in. I was developing um, body hair. I was developing my breasts. By all appearances, I was developing just like my peers. Unfortunately, I never experienced a natural menses.
Wow. That's fascinating. So here you are, you're going through your, let's say your late teens and then your 20s. And so you basically, what age did you start, like have your first period?
Again, I did not have my first natural menses until April 30th, 2016. I just turned 43,
Okay.
and the reason being was the release of the estradiol in the first month of keto. And since then, I've not had a natural menses again.
Wow.
So I've been perimenopause since puberty.
Amazing.
Hmm.
So now, what about like during your 20s? Did you just like try every single, like the typical low calorie, that Atkins, the HT?
I tried every national chain weight loss center. I tried. The only time I did successfully lose weight, unfortunately, it was in high school, and I developed anorexia, bulimia, and eating disorders. And then I did lose weight, and the stress of that eating actually triggered my epilepsy. So I also had partial complex seizures that could not be regulated through medication, actually through diet and sleep and other natural manipulations. I was fine. But yeah, throughout my entire life, I've tried the Weight Watchers, I've tried the Jenny Craig, the Nutrisystem, I've tried the B12 injections, I've tried starving myself, I've tried whatever cockamamie, the cabbage diet, the soup diet, the ice chips and bread air. If you can make it up, I tried it, and nothing ever worked.
Wow. So last year, this is when you started with 2016, you found keto. What weight were you at your peak? Was it last year?
Yes, I'd say 240 to 250.
Okay.
When I started with the my direct primary care physician, I started eliminating and reducing like the sodas and some of the carbs just by association because my husband and what he was cooking. When I officially weighed, it was like 225. But before that, earlier in the year, I was easily 240, 250.
Wow. So you started the keto. Did you also do intermittent fasting at the same time, or did you kind of do that later?
After the first month, by week 4 or 5, we stumbled across the intermittent fasting and we started adhering to it. And I can do a 16-8 very easy. I try to do at least an 18-6, 2 to 3 times a week.
Wow. So did the weight start coming off right away, or did it take a while for it to start kicking in?
Because of my insulin resistance and my metabolic syndrome and so forth, I was not. I started with the infamous BPCs in the morning. I was not losing the weight. I was getting frustrated. Eliminated the BPCs, and then also through trial and error, just lowered my carb intake to a 12 to 15 window. So instead of doing 20 grams a day, I was trying to. My goal was 12, excess up to 15. As soon as I started lowering that, the weight started coming off.
Okay.
Yep.
And so you started losing weight, and then what do you weigh now?
I'm 145.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yep.
That is a
And
miracle.
I've maintained that for the past 3 to 4 months. So
Oh my
I'm at a
gosh.
maintenance with my weight as of right now. Right now, I'm working on strength training and toning, building up the muscle mass.
Incredible. That's actually miraculous. Do you have people like coming up to you and just that knew you before and just kind of like, is that you? What?
I've had that happen, yes, several times. I've been open about my journey doing this, and I've helped several friends get on the keto bandwagon. In fact, I have 2 really good friends. We met up for a weekend, actually 3 of us. We met up for a keto girls weekend did some cooking lessons, took them out, challenging them to eat in restaurants and trying some new recipes and stuff. Combined at the time in June, we had combined lost over 250 pounds.
That's that's miraculous. That's incredible. Especially
Yep.
at like all these years, and all of a sudden, you just still in your 40s, you're still able to do it, and you just found this thing. Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, if I had not done it, I don't know where I would be today. I can just imagine the prominence of all the autoimmune issues that were just, I could, in hindsight, again, looking at the symptoms and the feelings that I was having, definitely I was on the road for some really massive health issues at this point.
Oh my gosh. What other health benefits have you had in addition to the weight loss?
I like to say, we like to refer the weight loss as the gravy. My anxiety, depression, I'm no longer taking any medications for that.
Wow.
I have battled anxiety, depression, mental health issues my entire life.
Wow.
My epilepsy is gone. I have not had any auras. I would have, as many would call petit mal, I would go catatonic. Or it would almost be like a twitch or a Tourette's jerk. What was I was having? I've not had any of those. I suffered from chronic sinusitis and severe allergies, where the chronic sinusitis would emerge and present itself as a massive migraine. Haven't had any of those. Not taking any more allergy medication for that. I've had psoriasis, and that's all gone as well. So my labs have come back great. So, and then I've had some changes with the hormones as well. We've been tweaking that and working on that. It's really been interesting how over the year my body, it's very evident how the hormones, they ebb and they flow as my body is still trying to regulate itself.
Oh yeah, I could imagine. I mean, let's just bring up the topic of anxiety, depression, mood disorders. I mean, this happens all the time. The direct relationship between your mood and insulin, blood sugars, low blood sugars. I mean, it's probably so high as a cause and effect relationship, and people just don't connect the dots. They live their whole life on meds, and they don't really know that you get off that sugar, you fix insulin resistance, your mood just, I mean, I don't know what you feel, but just brings people up. Way up.
I mean, I will be honest with everybody. I am a survivor. I'm a semicolon survivor. I've battled it. I've battled the demons my entire life. It could be at a drop of a hat where I could have a massive mood swing and the smallest situation would be a trigger. It doesn't. And especially with food. And I can now more sensitive and aware of my stressors, where I may want something and I'm not turning to the food anymore. The food is not the comfort level for me. The food is not controlling me. I'm controlling the food. Where I'm learning how to I've learned how to reward myself without food as the prize. Just the societal impact of everywhere we go, everybody wants to eat.
Oh my gosh.
It's extremely disturbing. Now that you take those blinders off, you take that and you see how food regulates and controls everybody, that even those that even think that they're healthy and, oh, we're going to celebrate with this drinking or this food or that food. I'm like, no, let's do something else. My sleep is amazing. I guess I should have been tested really for sleep apnea. I never was. I used to be a horrible snorer. And I remember that weekend away, I've known one of the girls since I was a teenager, and she actually woke me up. She thought I had stopped breathing because I wasn't snoring.
Wow.
And I would wake myself up with snoring. I'm also strep positive, and I have not had an outbreak of strep at all.
Wow.
I would normally, at least 2-3 times a year, start off with a sinus infection that would relocate and turn into bronchitis. I've not had that at all this year. So it's really hard to pinpoint all the small idiosyncrasies that I suffered from pre-keto that I've had not experienced this year at all.
Amazing. Give me
I still have the same inhaler. I'm sorry. I still have the same inhaler since last year. I have not had to use it for my asthma.
I love it. That's amazing. When's your first meal? What time do you eat?
I usually get up between 5 and 5:30. I do not have an opportunity to eat until 10:30 in the morning.
Okay.
So I usually am in a window actually between 10 to 5 is when I primarily eat.
Okay,
And then
cool.
in the evening, I might have a cup of black coffee or tea, just something warm and hot, and then I'm done for the day.
Awesome. And you're not doing a snacking or anything like that?
Nope, nope.
And do you find that your hunger is less? Like you can just like it's more comfortable to go from one meal to the next?
Yeah, a lot of it is mental as well, but no, I don't have those hunger pains of those days when you would wake up and go, oh, I'm starving. I need to eat this. I'm looking forward to eat this, this, this. It'll be like, oh, shoot, it's 11 o'clock. I really should eat right about now. And then even then, I'm not truly hungry. I don't feel those hunger pains. I don't feel that desire of, oh, I must eat something.
Wow.
It's you've retrained your body retrains itself physically and emotionally and mentally again where you're in control of the food and you know when you should eat before you get to those hunger pains. I'm not feeling those insulin spikes at all.
Wow.
Ever, doctor.
That's amazing. How about cravings? Do you have any cravings?
I do. And they're all fat driven. I'll make a nice Alfredo sauce like earlier my husband asked what we wanted for dinner. I'm like, I want a nice filet with some blue cheese, some mushrooms, and a big old slab of butter next to it. And he's like, that's my girl. So,
That is amazing.
That's what I crave. Or water. Truly. I drink over 90 to 120 ounces of water a day. And I don't want any sweets. To be honest, I cannot even go down the grocery aisle where they have the boxed canned cereals or cookies. You can smell the sugar just emanating from those boxes, and it literally makes me nauseous now.
Disgusting.
And if you had told me that 18 months ago, I would have laughed in your face.
Oh, I could imagine. I think the biggest problem is to find what to use to scoop the butter out to eat it, right? It's like, okay, how can I eat that butter other than a spoon?
We have a butter crock, so we have it nice and soft to go. And I'm not inhibited at all. I'm not ashamed to put butter on anything. In fact, I went out to a restaurant the other day and I had a cheeseburger. I'm like, can I have a side of butter? And they looked at me. They're like, you want mayonnaise, mustard? I'm like, no, I don't want your overprocessed mayonnaise. I want butter.
Wow.
And it's delicious. Put the butter on the eggs, put the butter on the cheeseburger. Butter is good.
That's amazing. When you went into ketosis, did you go through any type of changes like fatigue as your body shifted over?
I was very blessed, and no, I did not. My husband went through keto, the keto withdrawal, the keto bug. I've known one of my cousins I helped get started on this. She went through that. I never experienced any of it.
Wow.
Now, I will tell you that if I get any hidden sugars, I am highly reactive, and I am not perfect. I have dabbled. I have indulged in garbage before, and I feel it the next day. The first time I did, I had one cookie that I used to love and adore. Within 2 hours, I had a migraine, massive migraine. And the next day, I had anxiety. I was like, oh, I need medication. I'm like, why? And even to this point, if I don't like going out to eat at restaurants because of all the preservatives and chemicals they put in. The next day, I can definitely feel I will feel anxious, go, wow, what did I eat? Why do I feel off kilter? Oh, wait, right. I ate this. Let me look. It had hidden sugars or something to it. So,
I mean, I just have to tell everyone that is watching, the whole thing about being perfect, the whole goal is to not necessarily, be in this mindless, constantly eating, like people that get into this habit of not even being completely out of control. So as long as you're willing, I'm going to eat that, I'm going to react to it, but you're doing it causatively, like it's going to happen. You're not like unaware, and you're like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. I just gained a pound of water weight. Okay, then you get right back in the program.
And that's for me. I have high respect for people like my husband who have never deviated, who have never cheated. For me, I know I'm a food addict. I'm an emotional eater. So to break that addiction to the foods. I mean, I have taken a piece of bread. What is something that I used to love? I'm craving it. I really want it. Okay, there it is. Let me taste it. I put it in my mouth and go, and I analyze, why did I want this? It doesn't taste the same, first of all. Is it the texture? Is it this? And I kind of break that emotional connection to it, and then I'm done and I move on. And I actually end up spitting the food out. And for those that have stuck with keto long enough and that have deviated and have had off days, the repercussions, once you experience the headaches, the anxiety, whatever your old symptoms were, you've learned your lesson and you don't want to do it again. And in fact, if you allow your body enough time, it retrains itself. Now for me, a treat is a frozen raspberry. One frozen raspberry I will put in my mouth, and it just totally, that's my piece of candy. And I'm fine with one raspberry.
Wow. I agree. It's like, you have two things. You have the habit of doing it for so long, it's ingrained as a memory, all the pleasures or whatever, temporarily. And then you have the physical craving that your body demands it. So you're able to distinguish the two and like, oh, do I really want this? No, but I kind of remember what that like. That might have been interesting to eat that and get the sensation. You're like, no, it's not the same anymore like it used to. So yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And I've actually helped influence my father, my 80-year-old father. He's done kind of sloppy keto. He lost over 30 pounds. He dropped his A1C, I think almost by 2 whole points.
Wow.
And now we actually are working with our son, who is autistic, intellectually disabled. He has some behavior and cognitive issues, and we have been converting him onto keto and trying to help improve those, through various studies that we're seeing that are emerging of how, with autism and the inflammation and the neurotransmitters, how keto can help. And especially that's how keto started, was to help children with epilepsy. Another benefit that I've had, that my vision has improved. I've worn glasses since I was 5, so for 39 years. And my optometrist was amazed that my stigmatism improved by over 3 points in my left eye. I was near to legal blindness, and now it's improved by 3 points just through keto.
Amazing. Because for those people that don't understand, that there's a couple reasons for that. If you take a look at a person with blood sugars, with high insulin, with insulin resistance, they usually have damage with the retina. Also, keto, intermittent fasting, is neuroprotective. You can actually regenerate nerve cells. And your retina is an extension of your brain, and it's all nerve tissue. So you're getting more circulation, you're getting more nerve supply. So that's awesome. I'll be curious to how your son does over time. And then also your husband, he was interesting because if I'm not mistaken, he had a genetic problem with cholesterol. Yes. And he stuck with it for months. I think it was like 7 or 8 months, and then it actually got better and better and better. So it just goes to show you that even if you have a genetic weakness, you can improve things. So
right,
it's awesome.
It's amazing all the different, we take for granted now the benefits of keto, that it's so ingrained into us now, how it overall is helping us. And especially with the autophagy, the hardest part for me was the hair. Because of the trauma that I went through with healing my body in the keto, I did experience the dreaded hair loss, but it's coming even better now. And actually, I've had straight hair my entire life, and now I actually have developed a lot of curl in my hair as well. So, for anybody that is afraid of hearing that, about the hair loss, please let them know it's simply temporary.
You're talking about like intermittent fasting or keto hair loss?
Yeah, I noticed just shy of about 8-10 months, I started losing more and more of my hair, and it really thinned out, especially up in this area. My hairdresser, who has been my hairdresser for over 10 years, was amazed at how my hair. She's seen the journey of keto with me, and how my hair has actually changed, how I did lose a significant amount of it, but then how it's come back in a totally different texture, different shade of color and everything.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I checked with my doctor, and he agrees that it's due to it's related to, you know, losing close to 100 pounds in that year window. But it's just literally your body's getting rid of all those old cells and things that were created before, you know, keto, and just regenerating and healing.
This is amazing, amazing story, Jennifer. I really appreciate you sharing, because it's like there's a lot of people are on the same boat, and just hearing you, they're going to want to do this. So,
and I fit, my wedding dress is too big. My wedding dress from 22 years ago is too big on me now. I remember trying it on. I couldn't even zip it up. I couldn't even get it around me. And now I put it on, and it has to be taken in. So
wow. Well, that's a good problem to have.
yeah, I never thought in a million years, I thought that this was keto, you know, was a fly-by-night, the diet du jour. It is not. It's everybody that I talk to, I encourage them to give it a try. It's how we should be. It's truly, everybody can benefit from it. It's eye-opening. It's helped us heal ourselves physically. It's opened our eyes to how we really should be treating our body holistically, in totality. And I wish everybody would just give it an opportunity. If you can give it a month to 3 months, you're not going to regret it. Definitely not going to regret it.
That's right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for this interview. This is great.
Yeah.
Wow, this is like bordered on miracle. I mean, it's actually a miracle that what happened. It's just incredible, like 100 pounds coming off your body. So, well done.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I've tried every single, the only time truly before this I was ever successful was doing the infertility shots. And that's, but I was on massive Follistim and Fertinex. I mean, my body was so resistant to even those drugs to get me to stimulate for the follicles. That was the only time that my face cleaned, you know, my skin cleaned up, my hair was glowing, the weight loss would come off, was all through those drugs. And the reproductive endocrinologist, the only answer they had is just lose 10% of your body weight and go on metformin and you're good to go. And I had such a vile reaction to the metformin. It was horrible. So.
Gosh, incredible. Yeah, wow. Well, better late than never. You finally figured it out, and now here you are. So that's awesome.
Yep. Cool.
Well, thank you.
Well, thanks so much.
Sure, no problem.
And I'll send those pictures off to you in a little bit.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks.
Okay, see ya.
Have a good one.
You too.